नमस्कार। राष्ट्रिय परीक्षा बोर्ड र नेपाल टेलिभिजनको संयुक्त प्रस्तुति कार्यक्रम परीक्षा सवालमा यहाँहरूलाई हार्दिक स्वागत छ। दर्शकवृन्द, हामी यो कार्यक्रममा राष्ट्रिय परीक्षा बोर्डले गर्दै आएका विभिन्न गतिविधिका बारेमा कुराकानी गर्ने गर्दछौँ। विद्यार्थीहरूको शिक्षा जीवनोपयोगी हुनुपर्दछ भनेर राष्ट्रिय परीक्षा बोर्ड लागिरहेको छ। यसका लागि यो जाँच्ने एउटा माध्यम भनेको परीक्षा नै हो। त्यसैले परीक्षालाई यो स्तरीकृत बनाएर यसलाई कसरी अगाडि बढाउन सकिन्छ भनेर काम गरिरहेको छ राष्ट्रिय परीक्षा बोर्डले। हामीले पनि निरन्तर यस विषयमा कार्यक्रममा राखिरहेका छौँ। राष्ट्रिय परीक्षा बोर्डले लिने कक्षा 10 र कक्षा 12 को परीक्षा स्तरीकृत परीक्षाका बारेमा आजको यो श्रृङ्खलामा पनि हामी चर्चा गर्नेछौँ। कक्षा 12 को अनिवार्य अङ्ग्रेजी विषयको आइटम राइटिङ कसरी गर्नुपर्दछ भनेर आज हामी प्रस्तुत गर्दैछौँ।
Welcome to the item writing session. Today I will be discussing designing higher order thinking questions for grade 12. So, let us see the specification grid at first, that is given in the curriculum of grade 12 compulsory English. So, if you look at the screen, you can see the content like reading, writing and grammar. There are question types like short answer questions, long answer question, reading text and so on. Weight is given like 15%, 10% and so on, and number of items are also given, and the marks is also given there. So, I am pretty sure you are familiar with this all. Now, what are the tasks? What kind of tasks are given in the question paper? So, reading tasks, short answer questions textual, long answer questions textual and an on-scene reading text. Then the writing tasks include different kind of composition, letter writing, essay writing, paragraphs and so on. Similarly, grammar tasks include fill in the blanks and paraphrasing or transformation. So, this time I will be proposing a little bit of change, because we are talking about standardized test. So, my proposed item types would be on-scene text should be 300 words exactly or plus minus 10%, and the types of questions can be multiple choice questions, sequencing and so on. You can look at the screen for that, and 3 types of items can be asked to assimilate it with SE, and short answer questions. Right now short answer questions carry 15 marks. So, what we can do is we can ask 3 different types of questions, which can include different types of questions, items like knowledge, comprehension, application and higher abilities, which we will be discussing later on. Similarly, in long answer questions as well, 1 question, and we can change it into 2. So, item types in writing: descriptive writing, describing people, 5 marks; paragraph writing, letters and essay. So, this is same, but the thing is, it's good if we mention the number of words in the rubric. So, in grammar also you can look at the screen, you can read them. I have divided the whole book of meaning into words into 5 different sections, like function 1 to 3, function 4 to 6, function 7 to 9 and function 10 to 12 and function 13 to 16. So, in testing reading comprehension, we need to know about specific information and important details, which I have given the acronym like SIID, and it includes names, dates, amount, volume, all the nouns and adjectives, then main ideas and supporting details. So, the acronym for this is MISD. And it includes like ideas, examples, regions, clauses and descriptions and so on. So, this while doing this, you need to do like text mapping, which is actually a new phenomenon now. So, if I have time, probably I will deal with text mapping as well later on. Now, let me talk about test standardization. Test standardization is a large scale test. So, our items should be going all together with certain norms and values there. It requires all test takers to answer the same questions. Then the format should be familiar. The question should include varieties of items, and the score will be consistent in manner. What are the factors of standardization? Look at the screen and you will see that. Validity. So, a test should be valid, an item should be valid. For that, you need to have certain objective first. Without objective, you should not start writing the item. Reliability. Reliability means consistency. So, as far as possible, we need to make it like objective. So, while I am marking the test paper, I give certain marks or score, and if you start like marking the answer sheet, then your and my score will be same. So, this is something like reliability. And fairness, there should be no bias like gender bias, whatever, and a marking scheme is required. Efficiency, the information must be clear. Whenever you write the rubrics or instructions, that should be very clear and understandable by all the students. And acceptability, that is real life context. So, there should be no controversial topic in terms of politics, culture, religion and etc. So, now I will be talking about Bloom's taxonomy, which is a must for designing the items, and especially if we talk about the higher abilities, then we have to know the Bloom's taxonomy. So, if you look at the screen, you can see different levels of learning there. If you look at the bottom, there are two words you can see, knowledge and remembering. So, the left hand side ones are the oldest one, introduced by Benjamin Bloom, and the next is the newest version of Bloom's taxonomy. So, there are 6 levels of learning: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis and evaluation, or remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating and creating. So, remembering means recall the facts or whatever we read earlier, then we recall, we remember them and we write them. Then understanding or comprehension refers to paraphrasing, kind of paraphrasing, or you explain the idea or concepts. application. Application means we use our knowledge in a new situations. We learn something first and then we use that in a new situation to solve the problem. Then analysis. Analysis is we break the whole into parts and then show the relationship. Then evaluating, justify a stand or a position, that is a kind of judgment, we give our judgment. Then creating is we produce something new. Now, I will show you some keywords and some model questions like key question starters. So, before that I will talk about higher order thinking skills and lower order thinking skills. Knowledge and comprehension are lower order thinking skills. Analysis, synthesis and evaluation are higher order thinking skills, and application can sometimes come below and can sometimes come up in higher order skills. So, knowledge, if you look at the screen, you will see the keywords like choose, define, find, label, etc. Then the questions are given on the right side. So, you can have a look. Comprehension or understanding, which is like we paraphrase or we define something, and the keywords are classify, compare, contrast, demonstrate, explain. And in questions, how would you classify, how would you interpret, how would you rephrase. So, these are some of the examples you can use while designing the items. Application or applying, absolutely we use our knowledge to solve the problems in a new situation. For the keywords, apply, build, choose, construct, develop, plan, and some questions like how would you use, how would you solve certain things. Then next, analyzing or analysis, breaking things into parts and then we show the relationships. What are the keywords? Analyze, assume, classify, categorize, compare and so on. Then questions, what are the parts of certain thing? Why do you think? Can you list the parts? Evaluating, we show our judgment while answering the question. The keywords include agree, appraise, assess, award, choose, compare, and some questions like can you assess or do you agree, do you disagree, and so on. Creating or synthesis, we produce something new by compiling information together. So, what are the keywords? Keywords adapt, build, change, choose, combine, create and so on. Some questions like what changes can you find, can you see, how would you improve this. Now, how do we find the certain answer as higher ability or lower one? If you look at the screen, you can see there are all data for solving the problem available. If the answer is no, you go to produce something. So, this is higher ability. And then if yes, then go below. Is the problem presented in a usual way and context that does not need interpretation? If the answer is no, you go to the production level. If the answer is yes, then look at the another question. Is the student required to create a new problem solving approach that hasn't been extensively trained? If the answer is yes, then again production, higher ability. And if the answer is no, then you go down to look at another question. Can the problem be solved by applying a well trained procedure? If yes, then that is reproduction, which is comprehension. If the answer is no, then can the problem be solved by rote, recall or recognition? If the answer is yes, then reproduction A. So, here if you look at the right part, the rectangle or boxes on the right side, reproduction A refer to knowledge and understanding. Reproduction B includes understanding or comprehension and little bit of application, and all the other three production level means higher abilities. So, I will repeat Bloom's taxonomy again little bit. Knowledge, recall or remember; comprehension, paraphrase or restate or define; application, example, significance, which is absolutely in a new situation; synthesis, inference or something, some creation, you create something; evaluation, judgment, you judge, you agree, you disagree. This makes, I hope this makes you clear. Now, what are higher order thinking skills? We visualize a problem, we separate relevant information from irrelevant information, we seek reasons and causes, we see more than one side of a problem. Basically, metacognition, we use cognition, we use our mind. This is like a scientific method of seeing something. Just like we have a purpose, we have a hypothesis, there is a certain procedure, there is an observation and there is a conclusion as well. So, higher order thinking skills, yes, sure, it is difficult to teach as well, but we can do that from the classroom. So, if you go at once to prepare the items for higher order thinking skills, the students may not be able to answer a question unless you teach them first in the classroom. So, your teaching should be transferred there in the classroom first, only then you can achieve the goal. So, if we talk of comprehension levels, then we can again divide it into 4 levels. That will be useful for literature. So, I have divided here 4 different levels of comprehension, reading comprehension. Level 1, literal. So, literal is basically the stated facts or as knowledge said earlier. Level 2 is inferential, build on facts in the text, you make predictions, sequence and settings. Level 3, evaluative, judgment of text based on fact or opinion, validity, appropriateness, and level 4, applied, response to a text based on author's language, values, imagery, style and purpose. Look at some of the questions. Recognition question, which is literal one. 6. Explicitly stated information in the passage. Which of the following does the passage list as a reason to go sky diving? Main point question. You can create main point question as well. That 6 for summing up the content, like which of the following describes the central idea of the passage. Clarification questions. It's 6 understanding of the use of a word, a phrase or a term. Example, which one of the following comes closest to capturing what the term rule means in line number this 4, 5, 6 whatever. Purpose of reference question. 6. Why the author refers to a specific thing. Example, the primary purpose of the first sentence of the 4th paragraph. So, similarly, you can ask questions like organizing information, inference questions and so on. Thank you. So, the rest of the part, practical part, we will deal in the next session. Thank you.
हवस् त कार्यक्रमको समय आजका लागि यति नै। यो कार्यक्रम यहाँहरूले नेपाल टेलिभिजनको वेबसाइट, युट्युब च्यानल र मोबाइल एपमा पनि हेर्न सक्नुहुनेछ। यो कार्यक्रम हरेक महिनाको दोस्रो र चौथो शुक्रबार साँझ 6 बजे प्रसारण हुने गर्दछ। हामी अर्को श्रृङ्खलामा यही विषयमा केन्द्रित रहेर थप जानकारीका साथ उपस्थित हुने नै छौँ। त्यतिन्जेल तपाईहरू नेपाल टेलिभिजन हेर्दै गर्नुहोला। नमस्कार। Thank you.